Bayete kuwe Kep. Bayete kuwe Kep. Wena uvela iyunu. Wena uvela iyunu. Bayete Kep. Bayete Kep. Nkosi yamadlozi. Nkosi yamadlozi. Uyinkosi yomhlaba wonke. Uyinkosi yomhlaba wonke. Unamandla dlozi. Unamandla dlozi. Buka njengawo wonke amathongo. Buka njengawo wonke amathongo. Uyisithunzi samadlozi. Uyisithunzi samadlozi. Ubakhulisile. Ubakhulisile. Wabaphilisa ekufikeni kwabo. Wabaphilisa ekufikeni kwabo. Iso lakho lisekhanda. Iso lakho lisekhanda. Njengomlingokazi uRehekawu. Njengomlingokazi uRehekawu. Waseningizimu. Waseningizimu. Iso lakho lisekhanda. Iso lakho lisekhanda. Njengomlingokazi uRehekawu wasenyakatho. Njengomlingokazi uRehekawu wasenyakatho. Wonke amadlozi ayakuhlonipha. Wonke amadlozi ayakuhlonipha. Abeka iminikelo ngaphambi kwakho. Abeka iminikelo ngaphambi kwakho. Lefatse. 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 Umhlaba. 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 Agep. Siyakhuleka kuwe Kep. Siyakhuleka kuwe Kep. Nkosi yomhlaba. Nkosi yomhlaba. Wena wavela ngaphambi kwawo wonke amadlozi. Wena wavela ngaphambi kwawo wonke amadlozi. Amakhosi akho ahlala esihlalweni sobukhosi. Amakhosi akho ahlala esihlalweni sobukhosi. Emazweni amabili. Emazweni amabili. Ngiyavusela kuwe. Ngiyavusela kuwe. Phambi kwetshekazi. Phambi kwetshekazi. Ibhen laseyunu. Ibhen laseyunu. Lapho ubusa khona. Lapho ubusa khona. Njengobaba wakho konke okuphilayo. Njengobaba wakho konke okuphilayo. Ngiyavusela kuwe nadlozi elikhulu. Ngiyavusela kuwe nadlozi elikhulu. Eliyisibonelo kukho konke okuphilayo. Eliyisibonelo kukho konke okuphilayo. Wena wondla konke okuphilayo. Wena wondla konke okuphilayo. Wena uvumela amadlozi ukuba adle isidlo sakho. Wena uvumela amadlozi ukuba adle isidlo sakho. Aphinde ehlise ngesiphuzo sakho. Aphinde ehlise ngesiphuzo sakho. Umzimba kaGeb umhlaba. Umzimba kaGeb umhlaba. Uhlangana nesibhakabhaka sezinkanyezi. Uhlangana nesibhakabhaka sezinkanyezi. Uzala amakhosi namakhosikazi. Uzala amakhosi namakhosikazi. Abaphatha izinduku zobukhosi. Abaphatha izinduku zobukhosi. Iheka. Nenekeka. Bathwale nezixoxo zobukhosi. Bathwale nezixoxo zobukhosi. Laba balandele izwi likababa wabo. Laba balandele izwi likababa wabo. Ngesikhathi sabo. Ngesikhathi sabo. Agep. Umhlaba. Lefatse. Yena oza ngokuthula. Wamisa isihlalo sobukhosi. Wenzela amadlozi umphahlo. ukuvela kwakhe kudala itswayi. Nempepho. Uyena ulethe iminikelo. Izibulo lakhe inkosi yobuhlaza. Enobuchwepheshe ngezemilingo. Wena mlimi wamasimu. Wena ukhuphula wasamvuseleni. Wena mlingani wenkomokazi yezulu. Baba wamadlozi eyunu. Wena mbazi wezinduku zobukhosi. Wena mqaphi wegumbi lesihlalo sobukhosi. Mdali wezihlalo ezingcwele Mdali wezihlahla ezingcwele. Zebalsami. Ubeka unyawo lwakhe ekhanda lesitha. Unikeza imvumo yokubusa enkosini yaseAmentet. Uvela ezweni lekakhulukhulwane. Nasemfuleni welangabi. Lefatse.
my kings and queens. My name is Nsingiza, and today's topic is the introduction of Kemet. Kemet is the spiritual king of earth. He is the principle of all creations on earth, such as animals, plants, and even humans. Kemet is the husband of Nut, father of Asa, Set, and even Nephi. I can't really say much, but I wanted to say, please do not skip ads because it really helps us. And another thing, please subscribe and like, and I think I'll pass it on to
Akep. Umusa unkolanje inyanga yesithupha onyakeni wama-Afrika uyidlozi lokuqala emhlabeni isikhathi sikagebe isikhathi sesivuno onyakeni futhi kube isikhathi sokuhlangana kwezinja yingakho sihlonda isikhathi sokulapha imizimba ebuthakathaka ikakhulu entsheni sinothi ukuxazulula izinkinga emndenini ngokuqondana nekhonsafani namhlanje ngisikhuluma ngokuthi siproject izohlemothi ngifundile ngikwazi ukcreate iharmony efamilini kubalulekile iharmony kumele besendle siqala kube nomzwana endlini nathi sikwazi ukuphumela ngaphandle community iphumela esizweni so iharmony makhehle ibaluleke kakhulu so isikhathi sakhe yisikhathi sokwenza ama-family meeting esakhulu kunjalo makhehle isho njalo basic calendar isikhathi sokwenza ama-family meeting yokukhula lapha u-ankeli mhlawumbe ucabane na-last week umalume waxabana last year or umalume wazi baxabene bethu ungabahlanganisa wena uzocreate peace unomsebenzi endlini unlike uzograduatela uba yilawyer maqatshele endlini ilawyer abakwazi ucreate peace endlini ngoba iyamona ngithi sihlale yahlanganiswe harmony and play unity for economy. Yes. And so that play unity iqala efamily. Okay, before family iqala ngamiqala. Mina mengiqala united, united all these 12 gods. So I united maphelele. Ukuthi uma athi manje ngophelele, ugebe umshini ngophelele, no set in respect. Ngoba phela uset kumele umbeke decide ngikuthola ngirespect ngiset. Uset control. Uset phela iwo ne. Uset mangabe ngivumela ngicontrol. Ngizoyislave kabi usethe ngibhayisi ngeze kube nomona ngizula abantu ngizomsini xabana abantu mama ngicontrol usethe usezoba islave sami ngizomamela nini so ngizoba harmony so lilonke kahle kamisi harmony ikhale kakhulu ngentsha intsha yiyo umkhulu hlala asho ukuthi intsha yimi ikhathi lembili sephambili so intsha ukuthi yo unite amadambi lapha namanzi move emva ama-advert onke TV abathatha utshwala abafaka abelungu ngoba bangabathiza abelungu uthole i-advert ezitshwale enabantu bathatha neqiniso-ke etshwaleni i-advert balanda elinye ihampi elimodla lingaphuzi nokuphuza ngoba unesa mzimba wabo wayenza ngayo imali Pati dambi le na uta ukuthi uwe mopiti yanti so ama le ni awukho na ushike nje enyewe nephula phela umuntu echain market okay bukhala nje inja is market and EPI first put for that explain so EPI by panel claim ngeke ngizila ngizovuka panel claim bara put so walk when you put the PPI is one target thing by the panel. When some look about an alcohol market. Definitely market and experience as school to share coupon with some friends. Who shows you can buy near business. My market has 2008 market now with Plonyama. Well, we don't have petit down busy so I caught it. Come on, to win. My petit and you pay my petit for the Payama. That down 90 bar, Mamma Siba packet. And my call from the opportunity was up. I was not thinking, I know, but it could be up. But could be told in Siba packet. Snide and the one water market. I'm a cat. When I landed at Cousin Tobuco, I wouldn't find Tobuco, because I would that was spicy. With a communicator, and I would see, yeah, which one would serve a soup to Mkhulu, Mkhulu. But don't come Bashama Ramanga, Papa Nubus, or Babunu Busuba. Let to buy, but shoot about the maturity. Tina shoot at his post. This is an apple. I was shoot on Mkhulu and the post his ego, me. Pelagi, yourself is up at myself. That's why I'm going to say self. And then last time yourself, me, don't give you unity. The African is unity. So individuality. Individuality is crashing. I mean, there's divide. And so the self emphasize that division is now. Look myself. You are kind of so we're eating. Okay, young I kept February 10th in London. Each is Elstanson and Oman. In Saga, Ember, how much is so function as a line. I organize the grounded of Mangaring, whether passing a land or how many coming, my little counter. And it's coming, the crown and every time I bam. First name Kumbule, any little bambai in Kala. Mars is coming leader, my bam, link reminder something. First link reminder, who would really make a shining him. My bam is a community and born, we need my bone. When we classification is one thing, like equality in the high step. Since I'm Bambi, the column Kumbunjua, Mobile. Many Bambas in Kumbunji, watch a new unit in our place. So, of course, we will not quite any like any conspiracy monetary mask when coming out to come that out. Now, something like that. I can say, we know Sabu, I would that back to Mezan everywhere, no to new moon in the because we say it's email about that. And so, see that unit, Sakubuza and Kubuzu a bit to pay. It's not so, it's been a piece. I'm quite deep. Man, I'm with the match like a man bambas, but I'm Zambuti, young Kumbus, my bam, young Kumbus, and what I'm getting movie. Same as my image. And so many things about I create, or I'm meeting about hands, make sure that I'm going to start this negative. No film coming to any quite desire, meeting crash. And I'm Milan, go about with the quarter, who will 30 minutes to get around the wood and getting quite a Who's part, who's both it's something. Saying I'm behind my actions on that. Say, Tabangas Mafia, here I'm Chinese bomb. It's someone in Ukraine. Maybe I will control it because often nobody see control. In the Sifunda, I'm so, and so we should see the much longer that's the importance of saying now. We call it our team is our children. Umbala, each cherry, Umbala, Onsu, Brown. It's a Kalaile, it's Mkhulu very brown. Umbala. As man on the crown, you are doing another season. So was in my case. You put you bronze, yeah, you polons. Now, just as I'm a bronze, or as now, my journey, corporate plans. Corporate plans. Who's also saying, I brought my class, but money not to be unclear, this thing, this material, you understand, Gucci, you so they make it. So, people said, they put the poor child in the sense, Marcella Panama sent, you call me if your team, that's what said now. You call me put here. Ne? Amaka sent he back olive. It is Tasha, Isheti, Percy, Izluane, Ibuz, Hans, Boy, Hope, Ita, Tak, Umbochane, Ukagike, Manguz, Isi, Kwili, Kishi, Liza. Okay, yeah, so come on, store of market, eh? There's new market, when I came, not Labuyo, Nababugela, Mama, Mama Orta, Conala, about type of Conala oil. You can consider attend all that possible. Yewama ke besozeni.
sivusele kuwo wonke umuntu okhonile ukuthola ithuba lokunyathela namhlanje. Siyavusela nakubo bonke abasemakhaya abasibukele through ama-channels ethu. Sithi Ndlovukazi, Angwedi, Nomkhubulwane, Nomdudu, Nomzamo, Zinzisi, Avusamazulu, Ayimotep, Aloli, Thokozani. Hayi, siyabonga nje ukuthi namhlanje before siqala lisibulise ngemvumo. Last week siwitnessile sonke masivalelisa inkosana. Siwitnesse ama-Falcon la. Manje siyabonga sibonga iCalender. Sibonga iCalender ngoba iCalender i-guide yayo yonke into iyaconfirmwa iCalender. Now the most significant thing eyenzakele makungena le season is the balances of forces international. Russia attacked Ukraine. Hey, makungena nje ugebe ngoba hypocrisy of the world, it's too much. It takes nothing for other countries to then make other countries insecure. America ifunani at the borders of Russia. Ifunani America at the border of Russia. America has bombed so many countries in the world. And for what? Ukuthi bona they are the police of the world. And angeke yenzakale leyo nto leyo. Remember ukuthi we are just 5-2 to the age of Aquarius. We transit maybe kusele boma 2 degrees. Yingakho kune shift. There is a change. It means ukuthi ushintsho lizoba khona. Ushintsho lizoba khona. And Africa is going to rise again as a superpower, as it was before. So these are the signs. Remember, Satitina Sipila, Nama signs. We notice some signs ukuthi kwenzakalani. So we read some signs all the time. Remember ukuthi ugap ubaba ka Asa njengoba inkosana ishilo uOset uNebtet no Oset, meaning ukuthi yi-grandfather ka Heru ugap. It means ukuthi before, remember ukuthi uAsa yidlozi lokuqala emhlabeni uma kudaleka i-physicality. Remember mesikhuluma ngogap sikhuluma ngani? Sikhuluma ngomhlaba, but not only do we mean the physical soil, kepha sikhuluma ngale magnetic force. I-magnetic force that is in everything ephilayo. You understand? Yiyo ke le esikhuluma ngayo mesikhuluma ngogap, ngoba masithi ugap uhlangane nonuthi, right? Kepha bahlukaniswa ushu. It means ukuthi there was then birth of these abelungu banokubiza lento bathi the 5 basic solids that formed manifestation here on earth. And thina ke siwazi ngokuthi uAsa, uOset, uNebtet. Uset. Do you understand? Manje ke nayo ke isifundo esikhulu kakhulu about ugap. Ukuthi ugap is not only responsible for physicality, but ugap ukuthiwa uyena owenzela wonke amadlozi umphahla. Njengoba sazi ukuthi abelungu bashoda nje ngomphahla. Bashoda ngosiko. Bashoda ngosiko. You understand? Meaning ukuthi ugap uye ohlonitshwayo amadlozi. Because without ugap no note bengeke kube namadlozi emhlabeni azodala impilo. And manje masiletha la ku science, remember sikhulume nge-electric field. Manje ugap is that magnetic field of earth esarounda nawe lento uyazi ngokuthi isithunzi. Uma uhlangana nomuntu umuzwe ukuthi isithunzi sakhe siyakusinda. Yeah, it means ukuthi wena uresonator at an opposite pole yalowo muntu. Do you understand? Because if ama-poles ayafana, they repel each other. So yini ke uma urepela umuntu, it means ukuthi asizwani. Do you understand? But manje if mina I'm of an opposite pole, remember sathi we have lento bayibiza ukuthi i-magnet in our system that always gravitates towards the northern marker. Do you understand? The magnetic north. Kukhulunywa ngani? Kukhulunywa ngawo lo moya kaGap. Do you understand? So it means ukuthi lo moya kaGap is very active in everything that lives on earth. Yonke into icontrolwa yilo moya kaGap. And once you understand the science yayo, uzogcina wenza ama-magic. Uzogcina so levitator. Just like ngibona ama-video lapha, there were some people like Africa, they were levitating. But a lot of comments from black people were saying that is evilness. And that is African science, because people understand that the electromagnetic field. How do I manipulate this field? Ukuze mina ngkhone ke ukuthi ngidefy igravity. That is African science. So manje ke singaboyithuka izinto esingazazi. And because of colonization la emakhaya ugcina wena ngoba umlungu uthe anything ehambelana nomoya ubusathana. That is what umlungu ayishilo. And nabo iningi labo, they do admit ukuthi they don't have the ability that black people have. So manje wena ke if uzothuka that natural ability yakho ifana nomuntu othuka i-666 athi 666 is evilness. That is devil. Lapho ke uzwa the whole judge ya South Africa. Mkhulu. Athuki 666. That is the sign of the beast. That is the level of how Tina Singabandu we have regressed. Why? Because consciousness yet is no longer good gap. It's no longer good nude. You need to understand ukuthi unuthi no gap i-effect yabo lakini ingangenza ukuthi ngenzeni naturally. That is why I was saying the other day ukuthi ubozama yonke into. Ngisho i-example nje ukuthi uthumele telepathic message emntwini ubone ukuthi lo muntu uzoresponda na. Do you understand? Because you are training your mind to remember again the things that you used to know. Abanye abantu, they are good at sending. Abanye abantu, they are good at receiving. So you've got to test yourself. so that uzazi ukuthi mina kahle kahle ngikuphi ngathi ngicabanga ngento yenzakale na. Do you understand? Yiyo ke leyo science leyo okumele ivuke and iyavuka manje. That is why uzothola ukuthi there's a lot of science, African science being demonstrated by abantu base-Africa. But because of ukusontwa, we have been twisted a lot. We now view that as evilness, which is why we are here to deal with that, residue of the colonial mindset. So that umuntu omnyama must realize the natural ability, the natural power that we have as African people. So, calendar, we're talking about calendar kahle is the source yayo yonke into. Calendar is the source yayo yonke into, because without the calendar, we wouldn't know ukuthi what position are we in now. We wouldn't know ukuthi the next season kwenzakalani. Do you understand? But now, because of Sinet guide esishele hokhokho bethu, we know now ukuthi ilanga is about to hibernate. That is why the coming season is season year abundance. The great, harvest. Why? Because yonke into seyiredi ukuthi kuyavunwa. And the leyo nto uyibonakala yenza kuphi? Eswazini. Manje okhokho bathwele indishi bazisa kuphi? Esigodlweni. Ukuthi kuyodla inkosi qala before bona they partake in that harvest. Inkosi yanoma ngalesikhathi. You understand? So manje ke Africa, as much as we forgot, but there is little in knowledge esele. Kokhokho bethu, because who would have thought ukuthi timing could be this perfect? Ukuthi calendar ichaza lo moya okhona ngalendlela, and in the physicality abantu generally benza lokho. Do you understand? As much as ukuthi bebesiphambanisele basinikeze calendar wrong, kepha ikhona insalela. The remains of the knowledge system yase-Africa always resisted ukuthi ingcwatshwe completely. Sesikhuluma ukuthi isivuno esikhulu is the big harvest now. This season, leyo nto leyo siyayibona iyenzakala physical. Le elenduza ngase Natal kukhulunywa ngokuthi kunomkhosi wamagani. Naseswaziland kukhulunywa ngomkhosi wamagani. Mina ukuthi i-harvest time now. Whether kula eNatali or kuseswaziland, yonke indawo iyaconfirma ukuthi yisikhathi sesivuno esikhulu manje. What are we then supposed to do, team? Kumele siziprepare ngoba the next season, remember, asisakho too physical. Sesingene emoyeni, meaning ukuthi we now building what we want to manifest in September from now to March. Tina, I remember last week in Kulume about the virtual school, Kemet virtual school. Infrastructure sesibekile. But manje sizitshele ukuthi sizoyilontsha vele ngoSeptember. So it means ukuthi sonke le period le sifukamele lento la nala. Ukuze by September iphumelele. So kuyadependa ke ukuthi abantu bona bazobe bajule ngani. Because manje physicality kuthiwa lapha ku March ku Oset kuyahlukana. Inhlukano between umoya nenyama. Meaning we no longer, because the sun is hibernating, we're not supposed to be physical. Kumele ngabe sisemakhaya manje. Do you understand? Sakha izinto ngomoya. Ngoba into mele uyihlanganise la emqondweni qala. Remember ukuthi indlu, even i-architect. I-architect yonke into. Iqala la. Everything begins in the mind before it is physical. So manje leso skill bese sisikhohlile ukuthi into uyisupporta uyakha ngokamoya qala before it becomes physical. So manje ke uGap uzosibonisa ke ukuthi this is the time to actually prepare. Siya elentuzeni emangwaneni siyoyenza isililo sikaNomkhubulwane. Senza isililo sikaNomkhubulwane ngoba singabalandeli bakaHeru. We are the followers of the sun. It means after the 21st asisatshakaduli njengabo bonke abantu emhlabeni. Thina siyazi ukuthi sizilile. We are in hibernation now. Yini ke lokho kuzila? It means ukuthi you need to guard against what stays in your mind, your thoughts. Kahle kahle. Ama thoughts akho must be those thoughts that are constructive. Ngoba isikhathi ska Oset. Oset uNomkhubulwane is the master magician. It means ukuthi when you enter that season ka Oset, yonke into ehambelana neheka, the natural magic, is going to be possible. Why? Because you are also part of Oset. Do you understand? It means ukuthi once you can feed your mind with positivity. Definitely by September sizobona ngezenzo. Hayi ngomazwi akho. Sobona ngama product. Ukuthi what are you producing then? Do you understand? Lento siloko siyayikhuluma ngathi insumansumane kepha iyiqiniso. Makhe. Kumele si produce. We need to produce something. Asikwazi nje ukuthi to assemble and keep talking about a parallel system, but a parallel system that we are not ready to build. Yes. Do you understand? If you have the potential of something, look, you don't need a degree for you to be able to fully express the talent lakho. It means everything that comes natural to you. Ama skills akho. Awasebenze. Let them work to build a nation yet. Because you can't talk about a parallel system Guguti. There are no people who are ready to roll the sleeves and work. And the land we witness it. Kuzo zonke lezi zinye inhlanga. Huh? AmaJuda. May keep a number. Wonke. Abamba low number. And the bonke abantu, they make sure that they contribute towards that thing. Do you understand? Manje angazi ukuthi thina yini inkinga. Ungasabi man. Ngoba abanye abantu they are in the closet. Kahle kahle. Do you understand? They need to be liberated. Usabani. Huh? Asikho isidingo sokuthi usabe. Why? Because sidinga italent lakho. There was ilentuza actual case. Ubebuza ukuthi when do we assemble at the Credo village again? But now, the question is, are we ready to assemble again? Because we can't waste each other's time. Ukuthi siyohlangana nje without anything tangible ebambekayo. It means ukuthi we have set up Kemet Church so that we develop a platform where we are able ukuthi sihombe lama talent ebantwini ende sizowahomba uyathanda noma uthanda sizowahomba nawe sifuna wonke umuntu oku-GEK must produce something uke uze la uzosi explainela ngeproduct or service yakho ukuthi nakho mina engikhona ukwenza that is natural to me. I don't need ukuthi ngibe under anybody. I can live anywhere. Why? Because I have found myself. Manje inkinga yokuthi singenza ngazi noma yini kahle kahle makhaya. Sisafuna ukuphalaza sizenze zonke lezi zinto lezi. Ukuqosha vele silikhiphe lekhubalo labelungu. No, mina into I'm so obsessed with my products makhaya. It doesn't matter ukuthi product encane kanjani. Look, there's so much need. We are now in the season gap. The season your physicality. It means ukuthi you only have to look at our problems omnyama. What we are facing as a black nation. Then just come up with one solution amongst the millions of the problems that we are facing. Remember ukuthi ngathi mina abo bab credo nabo imhotep are amongst us. Abo Hatshepsut, abo Nefertari, Nefertiti, they are amongst us. Manje tetelani le mimoya. Give full expression to this energy that wants to express again. And there is cartilage. There's no other better time for you as an African person to prepare for the future. Niyawubona umhlaba wonke isifoli. If not a natural disasters bashayana bodwa. Thina sithi indala zombili. Kodwa mamini. Indala zombili sithathane vele. Ukuze ke thina ke remember ngathi mina. We need to reassume our position as parents of humanity. And we can't claim parenthood. If we are lazy, we can't produce. Khona manje, lento yenzakala ne-Ukraine, it can happen here. The day we decide ukuthi asisafuni nix ngale system, what will happen to us? Leyo. And it's unavoidable. Are we ready for Leon? Are we ready for Leon? Tina sibhizi namasavana sobeka la ekhaya. Amkhulu ayatrenya. Because they can foresee ukuthi lento okumele meaning ukuthi a dream that was deferred long time ago is now calling for attention. Its system nje ayina chance. It has to address the issue of an African person. It has to address the issue of umhlaba wabantu. And our economy. Remember ukuthi akuthathwanga nje umhlaba. Umhlaba ubune inkomo unayo yonke into. So it's that time now. Ukuthi we need to rise up. And as we rise up nje ngomlomo kumele senze. We need to act. Ifana nento ukuthi even in our communities, a social, a platform. Baneng abantu la. Kepha abantu bathulile. A very strange thing yenzakala ku Kemet Church. I think there's only one kingdom that is not active there. I don't know whether in the kingdom ka Asa. The very same people who are supposed to lead us, they are quiet. Why are they quiet? It means ukuthi that kingdom kumele sibukisise ukuthi how do we activate that kingdom again. It means ukuthi ayinamholi, all right. Because if you know mholi, all right, you need to engage bonke abantu. And the land ukuthi abantu, you know, be claiming ukuthi, hey mina, how can ungayazi talent lakho man? No, but honestly, how come you don't know your talent and you are reading the calendar? How come you don't know your talent? Because the calendar explains exactly who you are. Make chaza ugap, ubani ongaba confused ngabantu abazalwe ngogap. It even explains ukuthi these are the possible professions you might, be drawn to. So manje yini inkinga makhesi? And the land ibhalwanga ngesiChina or isiJuda. Ibhalwe ngesintu. Manje yini inkinga? Huh? Hayi mana sukumeni because wena makhesi. Ugap, it's all about action. It's all about action. Ukuthi masidlula kule season kune mark esishiyi. Do you understand? And the izinto, the ways the align ngakhona, you must never lose that timing ye alignment. Uma kufika into ethi ngenze into manje, you've got to do it right then. Because if you don't do it, you lose. You lose. Mengabuza nje bangakho abantu who are prepared, who have the vision of what they want to see manifest in September. Huh? It's all about that, Makesh. Bugani. If future, let us see is preparing a platform for wonke umuntu ukuthi abe nethuba to be a billionaire. Manje, you won't make billions if you are not getting ready now. In future, you prepare the future now. Not when it's now confronting you. Too late. Because by then, all sorts of opportunities will be there to grab those opportunities. So it means you need to prepare manje. Ukuthi mina the day we realize the unity that we want, this is what I'm going to offer to my people. You have more than 40 million as your potential clients. Because that is why we are pushing for that unity. So that we deal with the poverty forever. I let you have a piecemeal. Sambe, for Ibanga. Sibuyele move again. We've been doing that for all these years. Ever since we're under the control of this, Western construct. So now it's about coming up with long-term solutions. Minangati the other day, there are millions of, products that we need to replace in our communities. Irandi lami manje, nisho ne petrol. Mengiyotela petrol. I make sure ukuthi if angikagekanga isimo, I make sure ukuthi I support amagaraja la elokishini. It's intentional. I make it, a conscious decision for me to do that. It means ukuthi as much as because you never know who owns the garage. Because a lot of people are fronting line of sheep. Do you understand? Until Tina we establish our own businesses and garages. And that we must learn from other people. Look, This is how they do it. Let's say siyabona ukuthi okay, kune Pakistan la. Le Pakistan mele liphume. And then nangu Umhlaba ufuna le saspass. Umhlaba kana send. Tina siya contributor to give him. That gives us equity in that business. And out of the profits of that business, we are funding somebody else. I mean, that is a network that must be built. You know, for us, and I see in Dwenja, all other communities in our country are doing the same thing. It's only us black people who are not doing that thing. Hey, in the pull down, syndrome. Funuvuga ngam. Limele thina wise like GK. Sithi vele mele uvuke ngam. Hey, mele mvuke ngawe. Hey, inkani futhi le. It's an obligation for us to support black businesses. Yes. It's not a choice, man. You know when I'm upete 8,000 rand, the only thing I ukabanga senti nelenduza, ne plaza la pa elenduza first bed. Huh? You never think ukuthi consciously if you spend 1,000 rand ya melokshi izo circulator leyo mali kangakanani, and how much of a ripple effect it will make. Ijalo makete. So UCAP is teaching us those lessons to be self-sufficient and self-dependent. Kungathi manje masoku really if something were to happen today, kuhamba belungu bonke benzi manufacturing la. What are we going to do? Awukwazi ukubagijimisa because mobagijimisa uthi kubo please ungahamba, because without you I cannot feed myself. You've got to let them go. Set them free. Why? Because remember, each and every skill to manufacture or produce anything in our country, it's amongst black people. Lendo kuti asinama skills ayiko. Who's operating lenduza mafeki? So i-resource sinayo. All we have to do is unit. So that message ukuthi hey, kukhona umuntu who was managing i-bakery ye-Albany. Uyabuya ke uza la ekhaya. Siyamfanda thina. Ngoba i-50 rand ndoda we spend almost every day ngezinto ezi-useless. Sithenga bokhokho, sithenga yonke le nonsense, i-poison esibulalayo. So if we were to put in 100 rands, ngaso sonke isikhathi and identify ama-business asimele qale ngawo, that is what we need to do. Ngoba esikhathini esiningi siyakhuluma makhe, kepha makumele senze siyashota. Ngoba namanje there's no reason why kungena bakery at least ke esiqalethile. Banenga baba omama la namajita abakwaziyo ukwenza isingo. So why can't we do that? And this is what UCAP is calling upon us to do. Asiproduceni. Angithi UCAP uyaproduce abundance. Sikhuluma ngeabundance man. Hey, Umhlaba usinikeza yonke into. unayo yonke into that you need not only to feed yourself but to use it as a medicine. Ukudla kwethu bokusilapha thina. We're eating, but at the same time we're healing ourselves. Comes to Ilenduza diet. Nyama. Amina uyazi mina kahle kahle ngiphahlela amadoda. Ngoba ekhaya kuyaliwa. Umama ukuphakele without inyama. Uyalwa uba ubhubesi la izinto. Why? Because ayikho inyama eplatini lakho. And remember ukuthi inyama yiyo lesenza sibe aggressive. In the first place. Yiyo lesenza sibe aggressive. So the more we move away from inyama, angithi ningayidli ke makhehle. Just once in a while. Udla inyama. Bakhona abanye, you know, they come up with a scientific argument ukuthi there are certain fats that you cannot find in plants, but only in animal, you know, lentuza. Asaz, kepha sonke lokho injalo wena phela. Injalo. Phela ilabantu laba will find that ukuthi basafuna ukubambelela enyameni. Why we should continue inyama. Hey, remember ukuthi thina asiyazi business yamabutcher. We never had butcheries. Ngoba inkinga lento yenyama. Ithatha isikhathi to digest in your system. Yingakho mawuqeda ukudla ipapa lenyama, all you want to do ukulala. Why? Because your system is busy trying to digest lento le. Kanti mawudla, you know, njengendlovukazi. Mawudla i-diet yendlovukazi la, uzizwa ulight all the time. Ungafika indoda lapha emini ngo2 ilele yakhona. Kanjani? Because you're supposed to be at work at that time. Yilokudla esikudlayo. And Ukep never gave us impuphu in the first place. Impuphu le ipoison eyeza nabantu abeza la. Asiyazi thina impuphu. Umbila siwazi. Amabele ke. Lesidla amabele. Irafeji yamabele ingakanani. Ingakanani irafeji yamabele. It means whatever you eat, it assists with the digestion. Because it's all about that. Hey, uLenduza Dr. Sami said it. Ukuthi isosi yonke ukugula yile mucus. What causes mucus? Acidic food. Starch wena ke. You understand? So, Ukep simbonga ngokuthi hey, usinikeze konke ukuthi siphile. But now our taste buds were now colonized. We now adopted the taste for burger, hamburger. Hey, but by promote by market as the uyakhumbula ukuthi before i-McDonald's ifika la wela busiril bayigcina bayi-own. But there was a lot of competition about the people who will own that franchise. Why? Because our taste buds have been colonized. In poison, we've turned it into something epidizal. The Mahamburger is poison. There's no other way to go to my kugangai. Ukudla nje, iflour. More especially white flour. It shocks your system. This is what creates mucus in your system. You know, food is good. I say, gap. It's like the most kulumagadi. Which is simple. I'm here. Who love her? Hey, remember who took Cap is alive. Because you are alive. Without that magnetic force, Labuwe, it operator exactly the same like the Earth magnetic force. Do you understand? So it's now time Uguti. See align properly, no gap. Gap phela umkhulu kaHeru. uHeru thina sithi singabalandeli bakaHeru. Who gave birth to Heru? Uasa ozalwa uGeb. So ungazibuki lezi zinto lezi bese ke uzithatha literally. Sikhuluma ngemimoya. The elements, and the major isthunzi of Earth is that magnetic field. Hey. So we need to strengthen that one. And the engine align again. Remember, Gucci, a magnet that is within us is always pointing us towards the magnetic north. Always. It's natural, it's there. Compass. Sine compass. Langa phakathi. Bathi lakithi in our nervous system kunama magnetites. Yinama magnetites. Ulbuthe. Magnet. The system here to produce is a magnetite. It means the way Earth is affected, we are also affected there, the very same way. But know yourself. Know yourself. Then everything is possible. Everything is possible. Through this magnetic field. Utiwa we are ituma. The magnetic field. When through telepathy yako, you send this signal. Ikumane nama signals amani. Then you get a response from an oppositive, opposing signal. So yonke into is science. Yonke into is science. Siyeke ukubambelela kulento okuthiwa imambo jambo. Ngoba a lot of things manje zithunjwe ilelo gama. Ukuthi something that I cannot understand and explain as a human being. It means ukuthi it doesn't exist because angitholanga eUNISA. Angitholanga le indaba events. Ngakuthole futhi events. Was events. Abantu abalapha, these are the best minds of our people. But bafike lapha babulawe umqondo because we are no longer able to actually think. Unikezwa i-curriculum kuthiwe asifuna ukwazi your ideas. All we want you to do is to answer what we've written for you. Injalo. And the more ungaphenduli kanjalo uthi hayi no. Mina uthi ngichaze kahle lento kaNewton. Ngiqalele. Abafuna ukuzwa leso story. Ukuthi uNewton bokumntwana umnikazi wento uimmortal. They don't want to hear that story. You can't think. Mele nje ufaka Umhlaba ufunde ukuthi uNewton uyisikora. You understand? And now we are very exam. Mawungashongo njalo uyafela man. Manje, what type of education system is this? That the education. What is it that to educate? Huh? What be education? Who could light the fire that is within a person? Naturally. Ulipolishe leyo diamond until it blossoms. Ungangenzi isiduphunga ukuthi uzofuna manje ukuletha information from outside. Ulfaka la kimi inside. Do you understand? Which is what we're talking about izolo ukuthi even the Kemet virtual school. Once you say me, remember, and the advantage you call. Bonke these great teachers, all over the world, bazoba part of it. Meaning ukuthi abokabakamene, you know, abo mfundishi, all these great teachers say they are going to be part of it. But now, into eyodwa okumele siyazi, awukwazi ukuyofunda i-curriculum yabo gap uset. You can't do that because sizobe sikufaka on something that doesn't naturally resonate with you. Sizobe sikumashela isikhathi nawe umoshela thina isikhathi. So everything has got to be guided by calendar. Meaning ukuthi ku gap kuzobe kunama course maybe 4, 5, 7 yama course okumele uwazi about i-kingdom ka gap. And then lawo ma course ahambelana ne potential yakho. Awukwazi ukuyofunda izinto zika anpu gap. Do you understand? And even your function towards a movement, you can't go and assume a responsibility that offsets when asa. That is not how the universe is structured. The universe is structured according to a calendar. Remember, ngathi, even ilwane nezihlahla, they are bounded by the dictates of the calendar. Yingakho each and every season in a status sakho. Each and every season in a silwane sakho. It's because of that very same thing. Into yenza ukuthi singekho in alignment ukuthi senza izinto that doesn't resonate with us naturally. And that goes against the spirit of ugap. Because ugap umhlaba ozungeza ilanga. Uzungeza ilanga. And ugap sibona ngezinto ezenzakalayo ukuthi what time are we in? Do you understand? Hey, makufika ubusika siyabona ukuthi everything starts drying. The natural energy or the nurturing energy of the sun is no longer on the southern hemisphere. Asidingi ukutshelwa. Nature confirms. Even in September, nature confirms. Even in June, nature confirms. Day 21 is the coldest day of the year. Why? Because the sun is at its most southern point. But on that day, it's making a U-turn, coming back towards the southern hemisphere. So a calendar is the foundation of into. When you talk about science, you talk about elements. They are all emanating from there. Meaning what is that combination of the magnetic field of Earth and the Nale Lendoza, the energy from Gunut. So mezihlangana at a particular point. Remember, revolution is 360 again. So moikala is 0 point then becomes September. So as it moves the sun like that, do you understand? I'm at degrees. My figure would not tell. When it's closest to Earth, it's another degree. Until is Yoshona, no much. It means ukuthi ke thina ke zonke ke lezinto lezi zaka manje njengoba manje baningi sebethenga amatikiti oke Moria na yonke le ndawo ukuyobhubha le bayibiza Easter Okay, could be Easter. Tina, we're not supposed to partake in those things. That's foolishness. Why? Because we're on the southern hemisphere. UGAP is refusing for us to partake. Remember, Guti, how many people died during the holidays? Naturally, how many people died? Singwababantu all the time. More than any other season. Why? Because we are going against nature. Amadlozi ethu are resisting. Ukuthi makumele nisiphakamise nithule. Kepha liphakamisa lamadlozi encindezeli man. The oppressive spirit and energy, you are uplifting them. Then you complain, Uguti, we are hated. It's not good. You complain, Uguti, we are hated so much. Huh? Remember, Uguti, yonke into iqala emoyeni. If wena uzozondwa amadlozi akho, then abantu will then manifest that physically. Why? Because umoya ukuflathela. Why? Because wena uhlubuke umoya, you have moved away from that resonance okumele ucreate all the time between izulu nomhlaba, physical and spiritual. So when there's no resonance there, you can't get bese go lokhu yakhala ngiyazondwa le victim mentality la kithi abantu abamnyama mele iphele. And nalento ukuthi umlungu simbeka as an excuse all the time for us not to do things. It must stop. Because akomlungu obeke igun lakithi. It's our decision, manje. And nobody, no government can stop us from doing what we want to do. So, singabi nama excuses. Because that's all we do most of the time. Hey, labantu laba, hey, labantu la, hey. Iqiniso vele likhona ukuthi somehow Lendo, it has to balance. Remember, Guti, Uma art is here. Uma art energy is here to foster that balance. Umhlaba wonke has been scale imbalance. Why? Because abantu bajule kakhulu entweni zenyama. You don't mind ukuthi uthumele ibhome Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Ukubulala nje millions of people. Manje lezo zono zenzani kithi. Zenzani kithi. Hey, so Uma art is here. That's why we spoke about the shift. When the conjunction between Jupiter and Venus happened, that was an indication of a shift. Ukuthi there's a shift in the balances of forces. Nesizulu sithi lithatha osemsamo limbeke ku. Lithatha osomnyango limbeke ku. Angithi wakunjalo before. Basikhipha kanjani? Basikhipha kanjani emsamo? Hey. Basinike iBhayibheli sasala nansi. Umhlaba nomnyango gone. Injalo khetha, but manje lo msamo lo abawuthathe ngenkani awu resonate now. That is why lo msamo abawuthathe ngenkani is not producing the fruits that they expect. Now it's the time for realignment again. Yeah, no, guys, that went wrong. Umoya says, for you to build again, you must destroy. So that you are able to construct again something new. Manje South Africa sizokhala makuthiwa no. Le ndonga lezi mele zishe. No, but that was the justification they told us in 94. Ukuthi we entered into a compromise namabhulu to save lama buildings land. Who owns lama building? Yeah? Manje we saver. What were we saving? Hey, Mama, by now, how many years from 94? Ngabe sikuphi ke? Ngabe sifana ne-Ethiopia lapha. Skyscrapers ezi-ownwa yithi nase-Nigeria. E-Nigeria ubona i-building ime so. Iyatsheka kepha i-ownwa udala. That's the thing. I-ownwa udaki. When you own football and you produce football. Manje kuthiwa igatsha elingatheleli lenzani? Manje kumele sibheke-ke Mkhulu ukuthi singanqanyuki bangasi okhokho because bayakubiza bebekubona ukuthi useless bakunikeza umsebenzi wena uwenze bakubiza sometimes very violent ukhetha kube uwe transport yakho hawu lo muntu lo umuntu beke quiet kangaka wenziswe umoya ukuthi akuvayise how many times have we witnessed kuthiwa yena umuntu imvana yenkosi lo muntu we never even thought ukuthi is capable of doing this but ile mimoya le engakhonanga ukudlula lapha esikalini engakhonanga ukudlula lapha ingenele umuntu okuyingilosi abeyibhubezi that day asishoke sonke. Do you understand? So these are the things okumele sibe aware ngazo ukuthi always remember ukuthi okhokho bethu all they did kuyo yonke into bebenganandaba nento physical all they were relentless on is to create a resonance between izulu nomhlaba okwenzakala la emhlabeni mele kuvumelane nezulu ungenzi izinto namasiko esizini kaGap wena uwenze ngesizini kaOsek. It's all about that, Marcus. Timing is everything. Timing is everything. So that is why okhokho bethu isambulelo besehla kalula. Most of them there were no universities where they went to be able to learn the architecture that they ended up, producing. Isambulelo. That thing came, it was divinely inspired. Umuntu afikele nje ihand uthi nakho kufika umqondo nje. Omunye avuke nephupho. Kuthi so. That's how we live. That's how we live. Isikolo said was to teach you to align with yourself. Because once kune alignment la kuwe, isambulelo doesn't end. Remember ubab Craig besithi downloader every minute lwaka. Hey, because information beyiza, limitless information. Ayikho into ubab Craig obengeka kuphendule ngayo. Whether it comes to engineering, whether it comes to whatever, ubab Craig always had the answer. And then nawe unjalo. Uyinzalo yakho ubab Craig manje uhlulwa yini wena? Ngoba that ability ubab Craig no Imhotep nabo Hatshepsut had. Hatshepsut kuthiwa is the female king who ruled the Kemet. But the way bengakhona begeze afake fake chair. She was powerful. She was powerful, one of the greatest queens in Kemet. Do you understand? Lento ukuthi thina singabantu abamnyama, we've always looked down upon, women. It's a lie. Hey, i-example elayiduze umkabayi kaJama Umkabayi kaJama presided over ubukhosi bakwaZulu for a long time. Ushaka kwaba ushaka because of Umkabayi kaJama. And it was her again who plotted the demise kaShaka. Those were powerful women. So Tina, in the African context, asinandaba ukuthi umoya uhleli kubani. If sibona ukuthi umoya uhleli kwindlovukazi, yiyo kumele isihole. Akuna ego ukuthi mina ngiyindoda bengizobusa umfazi. Thatha leyo. Zalo bani kanje. Injalo for you to deny, oh mama ukuthi basihole. Who gave birth to you? And that leso sibindi nje. Leso sibindi ukuthi wena you must stand up there and say ukuthi hayi umfazi akana right yokubusa. Iyenzakala leyo. Iyenzakala leyo. Naseyigodlweni eyiningi. Igodlo eyiningi zifa nje. Why? Because abawuboni umoya ukuthi uhleli endlovukazi. Babheke ukuthi hayi leyankosana naleyankosana. Why? Because sesi physical, even in our royal places, sekungene the royal politics. You support it because you know ukuthi mengi supporter le ndoda engena moya. But because who close to politics, when supporter, I will be earning every month. So I'm a decision accept causing are based on that these days. It's no longer into moya. Ukuthi siyabuka kuzo zonke lengane ekhona like that. Ukuthi umoya uhleli kuphi ngoba angeke umoya usibhide. Sibona ngezenzo zomuntu man. Hey. So manje ke yiso ke isifundo esikhulu kabi sika gap wena makhehla ukuthi ugap yinkosi yomhlaba. Ugap is responsible for yonke into emhlabeni. And without gap, remember gap is that magnetic field. Without that magnetic field, kuzophila emhlabeni. Yonke impilo ayikho. As much as without that electric field, there's no life on earth. Electric field which is coming from the sun. So when a negative and positive meet, kuba nani? Hey, kuba nempilo. Hey, that's why we are able to open a TV. We plug in on it. There's a negative and a positive charge, which then produces a spark. That's why we want TV 7. So it's exactly the same thing. Even like a magnetic field, there's the positive and the negative. Kune positive efakayo, kune negative ekhiphayo. Injalo in life. Once we understand from that basis, we will never go wrong. And then remember, Lendole, it's embedded in our DNA. We all know this. Hey, Mkhulu is just trying to ignite that fire within you. Ignite your DNA so that you remember. Ukhumbule zonke lezinto lezi bowuzenza before ubuya. Ngoba njengoba ulakhe mhlawumbe ubuya kayi 21 or 21,000. Hey, ulokhu uyaphinda. Why? Because awukafundi isifundo. Isifundo esithi everything that you do, you need to create a resonance. Okay? That is the biggest lesson. Because without the resonance, a creator who gap no nut, there's no life. So resonance is very, very important. Yingakho besazi ukuthi nge-23 or 22 zikalentuza zika-September kunamatshe lapha enzalo yelanga. Those stones are directly aligned to the stars of the Orion belt. So it means ukuthi that can be proven. That's another thing about Kemet science. Kemet science doesn't say kholelwa. Just believe. Ayisebenzi leyo nto leyo. Mawungitshela into mele ngihlaziye. Uthini lo muntu lo? Ngambe ngiyoyenza independent research. Once I've confirmed, then ukholo automatically rises. Sengiyakholelwa kule nto because I've proven it. Yes. Kemetic, science. And the yonke into kokobethu can be proven. Who can deny ukuthi ilanga is going to hibernation manje? No one can deny that. Who can deny ukuthi our new year is in September? Nature confirms. Do you understand? Yes. It's not a philosophy of someone who was trying to colonize your mind to say, hi, let date yes and go. And yet there's nothing that confirms ukuthi your date year. Do you understand? So that era of being told about personal philosophies and personal visions about it's over. We are now back to nature. Nature is the source of our knowledge system. That is what Okoko used to do. They studied nature, everything, for them to discover ukuthi Falcon is the fastest and flies the highest. Kunazo zonke inyoni. Yingakho they chose that to represent the sun. They also say that it can look at the sun without the eyes being affected. It's a deep study that was done on that Falcon. Manje ke thina sithola yonke into seyikhona. They laid the foundation for us. Thina nje mele nje sinyathele kalula. Ey'nyathelweni zabo basenzele umsebenzi. Asiyoqala phansi. Siqala phansi mele siyophikisana. Fana nento ukuthi ubantu batshele ukuthi there is what is called, the golden meridian or the 0 point crosses here in South Africa. Umuntu uzokutshela ukuthi uyagula manje. Uthi okokuqala nje uqalekile ukuthi i-0 point yini. You understand? Kunokuthi lo muntu lo yahamba yo researcher, they want to argue with you. Kuthi uyithatha le nto wena. Ngoba ngikaze ngayizwa mina. So it means ukuthi if ingafundiswanga e-university, it doesn't exist. If it wasn't said by Umhlaba, it doesn't exist. Do you understand? So there are so many things to prove the existence of the golden Nile meridian, the 0 point. Esuka right from le, Kemet, iyophelela le, seyochithela olwandle, kula siyakhona ngoJune. We will be at that very same point. Mayichitha manje seyichithela olwandle, kula si receive khona. Do you understand? So these are things lazy, they are easily, researched. You can confirm them yourself. Do you understand? Yeah. So my limitations. Remember I said, Western education has its own limitations. Why? Because they focus on everything that is manifested. They are not interested in the causal plane. And we live in 3 dimensions. The causal, the astral, and the physical. These are the dimensions of our existence. Do you understand? So manje asikwazi uku-rejecta everything which pertains to Ikoza and the etherical, plane. Why? Because abanye abantu baya reject leyo nto leyo. Tina, we're masters on those. That is why we are mastering the principles. Ukuthi makuhlangana i-principle or the element of a uset ehlangana no-anti. This is the result. And leyo nto ungayiprova elaphi yakho lapha ekhaya. Hey, asiyinto ongazulinde wena thatha lele ntuza, element ka-antu, uthathe ne-element ka-set, uzihlanganise ubone ukuthi nawa mabo immortal. They know ukuthi some of these elements they can't fuse together. Do you understand? They are rejected, they costa i-combustion. Hey, mawuzihlanganisa. Do you understand? So, kukhulunywa ngama-elements, that is science. Kukhulunywa ngama-frequencies, the natural frequencies of earth. What really gives you ama-feelings? Those are frequencies. As prevalent here on earth. And that is gap frequencies. Yingakho kuthiwa ugap uyena owenzela umphahlo amadlozi. Because before kuba namanye ama-frequencies, kumele kube no-gap. Kuthiwa la encwadini ku-calendar, amadlozi adla ukudla kukagap. Aphinde aphuze isiphuzo sikababa. Hey. Umhlaba. Thina sikusho lokhu ngokugcwala. Because now asisakhulumi nje ngelifathi. You remember ukuthi a lot of people when they talk about Umhlaba, they are talking about the physical soil. Lo mhlaba owathathwa kithi. Thina sesidlulile la. Siyayibona the physical soil. But manje i-interest yethu more, it is lesithunzi. Ipower ikulesithunzi sikagap. You need to understand lesithunzi. Singanamandla. Labantu laba tai chi. Yini tai chi? Laba bakhona manipulate le energy. Umuntu akushaya ngempama la, ula. What you feel like to shine ngestina? It's there. It's proven. Hey, abanye other nations they master this and izinto zakho mntu omnyama. You started zonke lezinto. You are the first one to start and demonstrate this power. Abanye sebe praise uchairman Mao. Uchairman Mao huwa phela. Uye bekemisa the whole country. Makufika u12 or 11. Athi sambeni sonke so manipulate the image. The whole country used to partake. That is why China it's what it is today. Because they had the foundation right, man. Hey, the whole country would stop. Yoyenzo zonke lezinto lezi kuconnectwa nomoya. Then abantu babuyele emsebenzini. Manje thina siyavuka nje, siyadla. Ayikho into esiyenza as a collective. Yini into esiyenza as a collective? Ha? Ngoba sixhomelana ngamasondo. Hayi uMroma ungcono kuno Catholic. Ungcono kuno Protestant. Ungcono kunayo lentuza. Buka iChina got a foundation. That is why China is regarded as a superpower today. China was like us almost 50 or 60 years ago. It was exactly like us. But they were fortunate to have visionary leadership who gave the Chinese a good foundation. China namhlanje That is why America is reacting so negatively. China owns more than 2/3 of the stock markets as America. No. So Americans are insecure now about the Chinese. That is why they're now implementing laws that would then stifle growth in China. China is many busy. Nibulala bantu all over the world. Tina siya connect, Tina siya produce. Do you understand? So it's the very same thing as Oyenza. Remember, Guti Africa is the virgin territory for our technologies, our names that are still to be produced. Africa, you know, continent. Mkhulu hub, Mengiti Africa, is going to be the superpower. Africa is going to be the superpower because Africa is the last frontier. Ngathi mina uma lo moya so align nathi kahle. I-gold yethu ngeke siyilande ngebhamu ku-Queen. Uzovuka one day ashiswa into la emvumbi. Ake thathani yonke lento yenu. And they are bringing back ama-artifacts ase-Africa. Yimipahlo yethu. As African people. You understand? So it means ukuthi Tina, we need to get ready. We need to get ready. Ukuthi sibuse again. And the sibuse umoya. Ama ego. Awasasebenzi lakithi. I-ego ayisasebenzi maphela. I-power isemoyeni. I-power is understanding that magnetic field. It's tunzi lesa. If you can master that, ungaproduce ama-grapes man. Hey, ungaproduce amanzi. Ungenza la elokishini ngeke ngasho futhi ngathi the reason why mhlambe kunama earthquakes amaningi emhlabeni is because umoya is trying to bring the oil back home. Do you understand? So Tina, when we are ready to leave lo mhlaba, uzothi ugubha la ejardini ubone igoli. Do you understand? Hey, uthi ulapha elentuzeni emasimini lapha ubone nje something emnyama nje iphuphuma ithi. Uzwa kuthiwa igold nama diamond ayaphela in our country. Kepha mina ngithi afihlwa okhokho. They are making it difficult for these people to access. But abanikazi, when they are in their position, everything is going to come. You know, phezulu again. Mining bayibiza land. If you mine not deep. Open cast money. Mining yethu izoba njalo. Uyothi uya nje lapha emfuleni. Wonke umuntu futhi diamond yobedlala abantwana. Hey, today bakopha diamond. Today you are get arrested for gold. Today you get arrested for platinum in your own country. Why? Because umlungu usho njalo. Even if ungathola igold la kuzoza le iphukuphuku ze government zithi awunamvume wena ukuzolentuza ukwemba leyo gold. This is what they do in some of these concessions le ngaphandle. Kufike i-Anglo American or i-Billiton in the company i-PHP ifike izobulldozer in your own land. Ithi i-Billiton nginemvume to mine. I own the mineral rights. You own the surface rights. Yindombe. Huh? It means ukuthi umuntu osuka le-Australia is given the right over you.
HDSA, historical disadvantage South African.
No, but mina I've experienced it because I was in mining before. I know what I'm talking about. Abantu lemakhaya bayahlupheka. Kufika nje companies bulldozer. Seyahomba la emhlabeni wakho. Awuna right yokumstopa lo muntu because your own government has given that foreign company a right to mine minerals in your own land.
Using a fake printed paper called money, which
Yeah,
does not
okay.
exist. And you buy something real, which is gold, using something which is fake, you can produce at any time.
No, njalo. Buga mina I always say ukuthi in future there might not even be a need for us to be mining the way we are mining. Because the more we mine these minerals, what are we doing to the earth's surface? How is earth going to sustain other generations that are to come? Masiloko se khomba. Sifunani gold le phansi. Ngoba i-gold is a combination of elements, man. You can produce the gold, eleb. Okoko bethu did it. That is why they were called the chemists. Hey, chemistry, the mystery of black people. But that they extract the hydrogen, produce gold. So manjege labantu because they are devout of that ability and the intelligence of understanding the minerals and how to mix them. They resort to go home. Do you know, Guti, for you to be able to take 3 grams of gold, how much earth oil humba? Ukubungo jongaga, just to keep on 3 grams of gold. There's no intelligence in that. There's no intelligence on that. And basically, we are called, you know, environment of earth. It's poisonous. It's over poisonous value because you have removed something that balances the energy. Yenzani gold lapha njengoba uyikhomba. Yenzani lapha. And then nakhona yile greed. You want more and more and more. Destroying earth. Yibo namhlanje sebekhuluma ngale ilentuzo yini global warming. Mawungabheki iAfrica, you look at the map of environment in Africa. We are much better than the rest of the world. We are much better. It means sisakhabula. Remember ngathi kini. Before there was no need for us to eat physical food. Because the environment or the energy that was prevalent then gave us uksuta. Bovuka nje uyokhabula lo moya, we are okay for the day. Mawulamba futhi uyahlala samo ukhabule. Right, there's no need for physical. Because yini lento idla. Is it not the same element? It's the same element because you are trying to digest ukudla. For you to ukulenduza ukukhipha lento ekwelapha kule cabbage. It's the very same thing in the environment. So that is why we ended up eating food. Why? Because umoya lo awusekho clean. Do you understand? Then again, sesiya zamake ukuthi si-supplement ngokuthi manje sengiyayidla. Kumanje sesidla ama-GMO. That is why, whether you like it or not, you need ama-supplements in your body. Abo iron, you know, abo potassium, zonke lezi zinto lezi. you know, mele uzithathe manje as a supplement, because nokudla kwethu kuyingozi, it's poison. Balokho bakutshela ukuthi uzoproduce more when you use ama-GMOs. Remember ukuthi ba in the DNA of that plant kukhona into abayikhiphile, and you don't know what's the long-term effect. Yeah, lento abayikhiphile wena sowudla something eshota nga something. And I understand ukuthi kungani, you know, kunezifo ezingaka ezingapheli. And remember ukuthi even in medicine itself, in medicine profession is not supposed to heal. It's supposed to pacify and deal with the symptoms, so that you become a perpetual customer to the pharmacy. So our healing was completely different. Thina mawugula sishaya amathambo sibuza umoya ukuthi iblockage kuphi. Hey, la emoyeni qala, because we can't treat the physical without treating umoya. And the umoya siwutreata ngokumela isizini yakhona. Awukwazi ukuthi utreate amadolo ngesikhathi sokutreata amehlo. Manje sesiyaphilisa nje. It means mawungena la ufuna anything yakunika. Noma ngazi ukuthi hey lento ngeke isebenze. Do you understand? So that is how we healed. We had a comprehensive view of things in general. We knew ukuthi umuntu kabili umoya nenyama. And the nyama affects umoya. When you heal the spirit, the physical gets healed automatically. So if you concentrate on healing the body, you end up unama chemicals that are so dangerous, you know, for your system. Why? Because you are not dealing with the root cause of the problem. The problem is emoyeni. Fana nto ukuthi ulokuthola ama accidents. Why? Ushawa into ongayiboni. Mawushaya umoya, ushawa into ongayiboni. So mele uyofuna ukuthi la emoyeni konakale kuphi. If mhlamba ngenzelwanga imbeleko, if mhlamba kwenzakalanga lokho, if mhlambe ngathi kugogo, if mhlambe ngashaya umama ngempama, if mhlambe ngenza into wrong kubaba, creator isikweletu emoyeni, you will never be healed until uzoyisolve leyo. Uzohamba uye eMalawi uye eZambia uyofuna inyanga, ngeke sikwenzele fokolo. Why? Because kunaleyanto okusamele uyilungishe. So it's all gap market. Kuthiwa isizini ya gap, isizini yabathakathi. So kumele sigade. Abo gap. Abathakathi. Abantu bamakhubano. So manje mele nje sibanqenge sibalane ukuthi hayi makhe ningabhekisi kithi lamakhubano. Ade ndawo la mele khona. But manje labantu vele kuthiwa abalaphi bafana namagela. Abantu abazi imithi without ukuyokuthwasela. Do you understand? Abantu abafundiswa umoya kuthiwa lapha kulesa siganga ngase station, hamba lapho uzofike uthole iplant eso. Kukhona umuntu ozofika kusasa, lo muntu unenkinga ethize umnikezele yona. Afike vele lo muntu loyo umnikezele lonto aphile. Do you understand? Umhlaba. Siyanisama makhe. Ngingakho nje mesikhuluma sikhuluma nani sibuya nganeno ngoba labantu bayingozi abazi benzani mebefika ekhaya abanikazi bomuthi abathakazi abogema abathakazi but abantu abangasibeza remember ukuthi ubuthakathi kithi abufani ne-perception yabelungu. Do you understand? Lendo bathi ubuthakathi kithi thina siyibiza nge-science. Do you understand? If ukhona ukuthi uhlanganise impande yalo yamuthi, why? Because ine-element ethize nalo yamuthi ukukhanda izulu. That's science. That is science. Not only ukuthi uyihlanganise kepha telepathically uyithumele at a particular house. Ifikishaye lapho hayi eceleni. That's superior science. Okumele i-redirectwe kahle. Ngalokho sishayana ngezulu.
Shayela amaleko.
Ayodwa siyabadinga.
Abobani.
Okay.
Asiyabadinga. And not only abathakathi labantu yibo abantu okumele basibuyisele umhlaba. Sasho lapha eCredo umuntu ifixation yabo ukuthi how do we use ke le potential esinayo ukuthi sithole umhlaba wethu. Ngalokho uthi ugap kepha salokho sikhala ngomhlaba ukhona kanjani kanjani ngoba yini okumele niphathele lento yini okumele niphathele lento ukuze lento sibone ngezenzo ukuthi hayi no imphahlo yalamadoda uyasebenza buka kwenzakalani abogap abanikazi makhaya so mele sibanike indima yabo fana nabo Kemet Kemet ama purifier. They purify yonke into impure, they purify it. So mele sibone ngezenzo zabo ukuthi basipurify nala emqondweni obafaka more poison. Do you understand? Mele si understand lokho. So mele si understandane at that level ukuthi noma ngifuna isiviko kahle mengadonsa uKemet ndonsa uset Itaziye. Mokungama lama principle amabili singavimba into eyiningi. Do you understand? So kancane we will get there. Siyabonga nje ku gap umhlaba ukuthi you know yonke into esiyiyo, yonke into esinayo. You know we give glory and reverence to Umhlaba. Umhlaba. Siyabonga makhe. Asiqhubeke you know mhlambe if kukhona imibuzo clarification sizwe ukuthi singayiphendula kanjani. Ukuthi mhlambe wena uzwe kanjani ilecture kaGem. And remember ukuthi sikhuluma ngalezi zinto so that you are able to testify at the end of ugem. Wonke umuntu just that siyasakhohlwa last week. Bokumele sinikeze wonke umuntu ithuba a testify ukuthi uHeri umthinte kanjani. Manje misikhumbule leyo maphela noma sikhohlwa kepha sikhumbuzana leyo isemqoka ngoba iKemet ithi ungezwa ngumkhulu you need to experience yourself then you testify based on your experience ukuthi this is how I was affected by this season. So I'm hoping ukuthi kuzoba njalo ke towards the end. So if we can imbuzo
okubayeza bangoma baphuma olwandle.
Ukuze ukuthi kunesizathu why amasotsha asebenzisa le color brown again. Is there any resonance behind it? About imoto zabo, it's brown. Brown.
I think it's not a deep spiritual. It's just camouflage. But camouflage about fuser. In the color Umhlaba. So that as they do their evilness of killing people, but I don't think they've gone even that far in terms of understanding. Then to get care, put me school
manje mama uthathela Umhlaba ngekani ku-right ukukhahlela ngogeba ukubonga isikhathi sakepha sinza Umhlaba ukuyenza khona like mawuthola Umhlaba Mkhulu uthathile nje wawuphatha ngisho like kumele mhlambe kumele ucele and if uyawucela uyawubonga hayi ucele sakho ubonga.
No, sure. This is right, Liz. And remember, Guti, ukuthathwa komhlaba wethu, it's fictitious. It's not real. Because it's not real. Umhlaba wethu ngeke bawuthatha. Inkinga ile phepha nale system. But that is all in nonsense. It's fictitious. It's not real. Ukuthi umhlaba wethu vele, ungathathwa. Ukhona umlungu ongalayisha umhlaba wethu ongene nawo claiming. The day leskepe sabo Jesus sobalanda, bazohamba nomhlaba wethu. Bazowushiya la ngithi. So manje it means ukuthi fake lento abasifunza yona ukuthi siwuthathile umhlaba wethu. Abakawuthatha umhlaba wethu, inkinga nje yilama politicians. If ngabe labantu bebehluzekile la emakhaya, angeke bazovumela umlungu azoproducer iphepha belingekho eAfrika. Title deed siyazi thina. Uyini lo phepha? Uzakimi uthi ne title deed uthatha. Uyinikeze ubani lo title deed? Because uMakhado never issued a title deed. Umantatise never issued a title deed. Upambata never issued a title deed. Upambata was a wayilwela lento. Khanda pona. Meluphatha li tax manje emhlabeni. Uyabona ukuthi ukusikhohlisa. Ukusikhohlisa. It's not real lento ukuthi bathatha umhlaba. Bavunyelwe yilaba friends abo lama politicians ukuthi basichaphaze ngephepha, because that's how they are fooling us. Oh no, I have ownership of your land. Who gave you ownership of that land? Ulithatha lelo phepha. Ngoba le paper lize nawe. You brought this paper. Hey. And the paper hayi la developer huwe. Iphepha belikhona kithi. Kepha we never issued abantu amaphepha. Wena uza nobutsotsi bakho. Tagari theft. Uzojustify ngale phepha. Umhlaba wethu will never be taken. Into nje kumele sidile nayo ile system. Okumele iwe. Yingakho kuthiwa you can't demand the return of the land without the destruction of the system that is holding the land. Destroy the system, then Umhlaba goes back naturally where it was. And usukwe uwenzani uma destroy system? Udabula iphepha. The fake paper yeza nabelungu. Bayibiza ukuthi constitution. I constitution yobutsotsi. lapha kulentuza ku constitution banalento le enziwa bo Thabo Mbeki bayibiza ne i-sunset clause. Hey, nge-94 uThabo says himself, we offered amabhunu i-sunset clause. Amabhunu azange zayicele leyo. That's why amabhunu namhlanje ethi we never ask for forgiveness from you. Basho njalo arrogantly. Niqale ubani ukuthi nisixolele. Niqale uba. That's what they say. Ngoba thina silokho siya phambili, no reconciliation nonsense. Reconciliation yanda. Ungaka balance izinto. You only reconcile once you have balanced izinto. Umuntu abuyisile what was taken from you. So inkinga yethu ile system nalabantu abayipusha. Once kwathila and sodila na. Kancane sibaphethe labantu. Futhi mongababuka bonke babuke la emehlweni. They are not happy people.
No. Never.
Kodwa kuyabahlukuluzayo la ngaphakathi. Umoya wabo ukulanga. Ngoba amakhehla bafikela njalo ebusuku. Uthi nenza. Uthi mawubhekile amehlo nje uyambona ukuthi u-stress lo muntu. Afana nami mina nawe sihile. Stress ayomthini. Thiyakoza.
Ukhuluma nge-triple six wathi yayamesi nayo kanjalo. Manje ngifisa ukwazi kanjani ngoba nami uma kule triple six ngiyafanele ukuthi
Okay, I-666 is the chemical signature of carbon.
Yes.
It has 6 protons, 6 neutrons, 6 electrons. And when umzimba wako, what gives you the pigmentation is that carbon. They also call melanin. So that is a chemical signature of who you are. So what's going to Calender or year?
Ukugcwalisa kancane khona incwadi engibhizi nayo manje it's black root science. Black root science is the same concept. Iqiniso liyi-one. Singalikhuluma njengama-Africa because differently based on our culture and background, but it all comes to one point. In terms of understanding the origin thina njengabantu bamampela or bangempela, the originals, we have to understand ukuthi from our perfection ububi asibazi, hence abangoni nani. But for the experience of evil, we had to take difficult decisions because we had to experience lento abathi evilness. Hence we partaked in terms of the experiment to remove the melanin from our perfect beings and produce these imperfect beings. The first period, as I understand, according to the Black Root science, it took 200 years, whereby there was careful breeding of this of us in a secured environment, more like an island or test club or whatever. It took 200 years to produce the first beings. If I'm not mistaken, those first beings were classified as those with black hairs, more like the Italian. From those Italians, as the first group, after 200 years, they continued to breed them to produce the second breed, which is the Arabs, after 200 years. So now it's 400 years. And now from the Arabs to continue breeding them to produce the yellow race, which is the third race. Now the melanin is totally out, or it's becoming suppressed as they go with this period. Now from the yellow race, it took them 66 years to produce what is called a white or a recessive total gene, which is the Caucasians. Hence, from that point, everything that they are doing, they are regressing. They are not progressing. biologically and any other way. So from the first point of Ilontuza, from the first point of mutation, it took them 666 years to produce the first pure white, hence it's called the mark of the beast. From the first 200 years, which is the Dutch Reiniama Italian, 200 years to the Arabs, 200 years to the yellow race, which is called the Chinese, and 200 years to the pure white without those genes, which is 66 years. All the mark of the beast, which is 666. That's how Black Root Science defined that as well, to support it in another angle. Thank you.
Historiska lendo tabayibiza ukuthi uyakhupha.
Yeah.
process.
Uyakhupha when lezo zinto bathi it took abantu abayizinkawu. Wayobabeka in an island somewhere for him to produce a completely different race, and it was intentional. And the Batu Yakublo, it was a black person. But manje, Gube the argument before to go to Tina, we are test. When you talk about the Anunnaki, you talk about Enki and Enlil. Those are the people who actually created. This is according to Zachariah 16. And this is what Tupac Credo used to talk about as well. Tina were created to be slaves, for the Anunnaki. The Anunnaki were looking for God. So there are all these things, as it called. But Tina Sila. One thing which is positive, it's confirmed. We are the original race. That is what is important. It's there. It's in the back of our mind. But manje, that importance yet. It's not something that is claimed. It's something that is a lived experience based on what Africans did before. Do you understand? Based on that, we are then able to deduce, Tina kahle kahle. Yingakho manje sesibuyela kuphi emoyeni. Because we have rediscovered the importance of moya. Ukuthi without moya asilutho. Do you understand? So ilapho makhetha but ilapho khetha. The first stop and leyo 666 ihambelana ne 9 DNA strands. We are the only race with a 9 DNA strand. All of them ziphelela la ku6. Yingakho ke labantu laba, they are so envious of that. They always want to push you to vibrate at that level. Do you understand? So Tina, we need to rise above and ascend like Heru. Ukuthi Tina, we don't asibelongi la emhlabeni kuphela. Inyoka senza njengoHeru siyithathe from la emhlabeni. Why? Because la emhlabeni is comfortable. The only way so dila ngayo inyoka asikhuphule sibeke lapho phezulu. Sidile ngayo ngoba uncomfortable. So Israel said to us, got to be like that. You can't face abelungu ku battlefield yabo. They are comfortable. Banama hydrogen bomb laba. Bayipressa manje yonke into yaphela. So manje mele ubabeke laba uncomfortable khona. That's the only way we are going to win this war. More yakhe. Ba weak ngidla. So manje ungafuna ukuba challenge nawe ngabo AK47. Awuzolimala nje. Baphahlele nje. Baphahlele nje finish. Uhlukane nabo uzobona umoya uzodila nabo.
Masibaphathela sibaphathela ngani sisebenzisana.
Hayi, ukuphahla kwethu lokho ke esikwenzayo.
Bona lo.
Hey, lo mphahlo wesiwenzayo Makhetha ubukeka ngathi into useless. Ngoba it's so easy to do. And it's powerful. It's power. Lo mphahlo uncibikisa intaba. Incibike ithi. That is exactly what's going to happen. So lo mphahlo wesizwe yikho it's so important. And yingakho sithi we need to do this collective mphahlo. Singabantu abamnyama sonke. When it comes to 12-6 again, sonke senza lo mphahlo. 10 years is enough. Yonke into yethu izobuya. Once singenza njalo, then ipower yethu will be back. So singafuna ukulwa nabelungu kule risk, kule field yabo, battlefield yabo. Hayi no, so sohluleka la. Angeke futhi size silunge la. Mele senze njengokhozi, inyoka siyibeke la. Ngithi bayinyoka. Mele sibabeke lapha, sidile nabo. Le phezulu. They can't maneuver that. That's why they even term that a mambo jam. But I say the young Calender and the Tina were masters of that. Secret.
Compliment or acceptance speech. Oh, yes, gratitude. Opening up our eyes with this information. Once you wake up from spiritual slumberland, nothing can put you to sleep. And some light was shed when we were at the 12 houses, the first, that first, yes. And then it was highlighted that our skin tone was the same as that of the plants, which means that our DNA as well as the plants one is the same.
Yeah.
But now we find out that in terms of medicine and other things, they don't want to use plants and natural elements. We start wondering why. Another thing that was very important is the calendar. That everything in the world is controlled by the calendar. Yes. Because timing is everything. And then they take it and turn it outside. And some words like Heru, horoscope. Yes, I discovered that session. It comes from horoscope. Horoscope was taken from horoscope. Heru's vision, right? Yes. Heru's vision. And then to confuse us, they made it a horoscope. Yes, so we must guard against that. Thank you.
That was a part of the strategy. Yokusonda. Yeah. Abantu basonda kanjani. Remember ukuthi how they defeated abantu. Bashaye spirituality. Maybe figure in Africa they targeted amakhosi namakhosikazi. As the custodian of this spiritual power, they knew ukuthi maybe shaye inkosi ikhanda umzimba wonke would then follow. Do you understand? So ukuzisontulula. That's all we are doing now, so that we are able to face again the magnetic north. So that yonke into yethu ibuyele the way bengakhona before. Thokoza.
We are first timers. We have noticed calendar and timing everything happens at a certain timing. We have been noticing since 2019, 2020, every second, third person has a calling. From as early as about 12, 13, 14 years. I don't know if you noticed, there's a lot of recruits a corner around people who have noticed spirit. What is the certain timing in terms of which we are not really yet aware
Yeah. No, when I see him. Yeah. That is the true empowerment. Remember, Uguti, the very same energy. Here, legacy landena whilst we were still in Egypt. Kepa that energy isukile le kuselindo ngale ila no energy and izolungisa ingakho kuba ngathi fashion abantu bayathwasa kanti asi fashion kunalo moya oprevalent la in the southern part of the continent ozolungisa upreparela ifuture njengoba sikhuluma ukuthi ifuture of Africa. If future Africa is going to be led by abantu bomoya. So that's why lo moya ulungisela abantu bawo. Ukuthi mafike isikhathi naba abantu okumele balidi Africa. Hayi labantu esiloko sibhizi nabo. Ababhizi nama-Bentley, nama-Manchin, zonke lezo zinto lezo. You understand? So, asiyimpi ke. Empowerment. Shokuthi lo moya lo yilo moya okhokho abawusebenzisa ukubusa umhlaba wonke. Ngoba lo moya unamandla lo. Once si-connecta kuwo singabantu abamnyama. Lo moya waqala la. Remember. After a certain age, they say age takes about 24,000. After a certain age, njengoba sisuka manje kuphasi sesingena ku-Aquarius, yileyo shade. It means lo moya is back where it started. That is why civilization yaqala here in the south. And that is why uthola ukuthi iSouth Africa or the southern part of the continent wonke umuntu emhlabeni iattention is because of lo moya ola. So it's not by chance or mistake, you know, abantu bayithola ukuthi sebeyathwasa. Bakhona ke laba bayenza igame okwabo ke la. Sokuba fashion. But in reality, kukhona lo moya ozolungisa. Umise izinto the way kumele zime ngakhona. And yiwo ke lo moya okumele si-connecte kuwo sonke. Yilo moya owenza iKemet, Northern Kemet must be great. It's because of lo moya. Remember ukuthi then wonke umuntu omhlabeni was attracted to the northern part of the continent, iKemet. Now everybody is attracted to the south because of lo moya. So lo moya kahle uzos empowerisha. Ukuthi now amandla, you know, ngiyanikeza. All you have to do is to connect to lo moya. Thokoza. Ngishaya kancane mkhuluma nje. Jehosh. Uyakhuluma kakhulu spelling mix.
ngoba isipho sami ngithanda ukubonga Mkhulu kakhulu kulesipho lesikhulu xwayise nabafowethu ukuthi umoya vele uyasebenza isikhathi ukuthi abantu bamukele le esikudlulele bayayicela vele everywhere la ngihamba khona ngiyababona abantu bayadinga vele. The more I share about the calendar, the more they resonate and nabo futhi bayafuna ukuthi beze la ekhaya lana sizokwazi siqale sisebenzele kule unity because without unity yethu singabantu abamnyama siyi-one njengembumbe eyamachana yenzile ngeke sikwazi ukuthi siyiqhube lento lena sikhuphuke futhi siphakamise ukuthi lo moya lona usebenzele ngendlela emile sisebenzele ngayo. So our unity uthando nokubekezelelana sibekezelelane nabo laba abantu basayidinga lento lena sibabekezelele ukuthi mfowethu woza mfowethu naye ungayitshala imbewu ngakuyo izokhula. Be patient ngoba imbewu iyakhula uma uyitshalile emntwini once utshalile ngekalenda ne-understanding ye-nature yethu ikhalenda icala ngokubani inyaka ngiyiphi inyanga kanjalo umuntu uzobuya bagcine beze lana. The more siza la ekhaya ngifuna size sigcwalise ne-Orlando Stadium. Mkhulu uyayidinga lento le hhayi ukuthi idingwa ukuthi idingwa i-energy vele le esibiza la lapho South Africa wonke Somalia, Malawi, akusama foreigner labantu labo. The only foreigner esinayo umlungu. Vele sebenza nani so thina ngokwethu ubani sambe nawo lo moya lo.
But I just want to testify ukuthi ngambele isikhathi somoya isona lesi ngimchaza manje because mina ndisuke e-UK bendilandela igqwetha of Kemet through YouTube and then I make sure ukuthi when I leave ndandiphatha ngomso I make sure that I'm going to be in Joburg around the time that on a Sunday ngibe la. So I was also so encouraged ukubona amadoda amaningi
I think kwenye esinotisile nekonta nawe notice sunset not different abantu basibuza lathi keyboard basibuza mazokaje confirmani sisibuza I want to go to sit tight. Uhelo hamba ngesizwe.
Njalo ke sibone sonke. Nasedeben everywhere. It was a confirmation ukuthi uyasivalelisa. Thokoza. Oh, sure.
Melang, ina kibonbero moya waphinda. Ngibona ukuthi mawalini ku freedom park. Ku Pretoria. Solo kuti babuya bari ne ba yemethi Mkhulu.
I know.
Ngo yemethi azaku. Nalo arukuthateki khutela kuse. Hey, ngikula wole so yanjani nje. Mkhulu uyokhuluma ngoke. I want to know more about Lefatse. So I wake up early in the morning. I was the first person to fix the morning. Nikhamla ke mo. Because I need to know what is very complicated. Because now I yona kana go khidula ibata go.
Sure.
Yeah. So it's for more. Ever since kitalo fikamu. Mo ampu. Kilita handle Besolo kumbona ezinye izinto zenzakala kimi. Mina ngikhule ngebusiness. Umlungu angimazi. Once ngeke ngene esasole. Bangenzela phambili yakufiki. Manje ungene esasole man eish. Angikhopi. I'm a vegan. Angifika lapho na. Angizizwa kahle. One day I decided I'm going to for PC. I'm going for PC. Katabula phambili katabula debate kabaka kayo. Na no keta ya business I'm a herbalist. I didn't know about it. Yeah. So since you can lose a Kemet, izinto ziyazenzakalela. People they will come to me but ngihlanganisa umuntu abe aphile Siyabonga Mkhulu. Siyabonga kakhulu. Lefatse. Lefatse. Aliseli. Amkhulu.
Wena khetha kumele ngibe khona vele. Ngi-invite uThawuthawula. Kumele ngibe khona kule event but siyesabambela nje kancane wena khetha lama limitations esinokuba nawo zange sakhona ukuthi sifinyelele. But besifisile vele ukuthi sibe lapha ngoba amakhetha laba of the Rastafarian community siyasebenzisana nabo. There are so many things that are common to us. So siyasapotana. Lapha leduza ngithe Eunice. So siyahlangana nabo kuThawuthawu harama kakhulu, you know, in terms of ama events ase Eunice. But it was unfortunate asikhonanga ukuthi size sifikele. But we were invited. Besinayo Umhlaba ready but azange sakhona. Umhlaba was here for us to go. Thokoza.
Nsingiza. It's my first time coming here. So second movement for them to get that sort because then I grew up as a boy, child, old, NASA understood especially when it came to our doctrine to biology. There were a lot of homes still on the next understand how business come about. I couldn't even relate a lot of things. Up until today, into that information, they get movement on YouTube. And with me discovering the gay movement, I also discovered the African Royal Calendar, which helped me to identify myself, re-identify myself, because I thought living for the October and 7 Libra. It's the opposite, it's not Libra, but exactly. Yes. So it also falls under the house of Asa.
Yes.
Asa. So with that being said, I took it upon myself for my friends to share this information to our fellow brothers and sisters back for Nsingiza. So we've opened a podcast called Asa Podcast where we digest this information and share them with our my fellow
especially cabanga kulethembisi. Siyabonga kakhulu ngoba future the future is yours. So the more nifunda the content is the more you are going to rule not only Africa, Umhlaba. The content, you know, they went and civilized Umhlaba. When you talk about the Moors, you know, when they were civilizing Europe, a Moor is an African, is a black person. It's not some, you know, Arab or something that way. When they refer to the Moors, they are talking about black people. So we are the people who took the civilization from here into Europe. So mina kuyangijabulisa kakhulu ukubona youth ebambelele kule information because it then says future is bright. Siyabonga kakhulu. Simba Eh?
Social media
out.
question.
Eh.
I think where should our head face during speed? Where should our head face?
So, when you sleep, your head must face up, so that when you wake up, you are facing north. You must never ulale ubeke away, because the position you have there. You understand? Gap. I'm down. I'm who are keeping the fires burning, even when you are not at home. You understand? Noma uselile Britain, ukhona base-Australia, ngihamba ngale khona nabase-Poland, abodade abantu abamnyama who are from here. So uGogo is one of those people who are linking up network yabantu abamnyama all over the world, so that we are able to follow one thing. Kukhona indlovukazi ese-Australia, kukhona indlovukazi all over, namakhaya bakhona base-UK, who are also trying to connect that UK. Alikile into that manner. Right. Even normal unayo, please tengela omunye. Ngoba that is how we sustain ourselves. We don't want to be paid by somebody else. So manje leyincwadi bezingathelwanga kuba nzima nokuthi sithole imali yokwenza lamalesina. So siyaqala maphela promotani incwadi so that you are able i-GDK to sustain itself. Sizo kushulwa yini haya abanye abantu. So nathi-ke asikhombiseni-ke nathi appreciate inhloko zakhe. Oh, sorry.